goals from Mbeumo, Dorgu, Cunha were enough to get the 3 points for Michael Carrick. I think, Ty, should Arsenal be worried about the bid for the title? Because I think before this match, you drew 2 games in a row 0-0 in the Premier League, and you haven't won a game in a while. Are you worried about maybe stepping up in the title race?
As in, we haven't won a game in the Premier League for a while.
Mm.
Because I thought that Inter Milan performance was really good away from home, and I thought we built on that. And United at home, after we slapped Inter, I thought, you know what, it's going to be a hard game. Because Carrick with his 100% win or draw rate, and then you've got Arteta up against him. I thought beforehand we're not losing this game, but it was such a poor performance, and we could easily get undone here. Now we got Leeds away. It has to be a bounce back, because that performance against United on the weekend was not acceptable at all. I don't know why he's not starting Victor Gyökeres. I don't know what kind of disgraceful tactics, team selection. I don't know what that's all about. Because you start Gyökeres in a big game like that, especially after Inter Milan away when you back that worldie. You start Gyökeres. You don't start Xabi Jesus, who's made of glass. Xabi Jesus is not consistent enough, and he's not really good enough for Arsenal Football Club. Gyökeres, you could see glimpses. You can see glimpses of greatness. You just need to give him more service. You play around Gyökeres, and you get goals. If you don't, then you see what happens. 0-0s. And Saka, very, very poor. I've been very, very disappointed lately with Bukayo Saka. It's not good enough from him. I don't know why we let Ethan go out on loan. Ethan should have started that game if he was at the club still, because he offers more than Saka at the minute, as you see. First game at Marseille, what does he do? Slots it bottom left. Why wasn't he given that free range at Arsenal? We need that creativity, and he's not. We've not got it in Odegaard, and Eze's not getting a chance. So just poor all around. Poor team selection, poor tactics. Once we go 1-0 up, it just seems like we don't want to score
again. And Faisal, how did you react to beating Arsenal at the Emirates?
Just to get this out of the way, I was actually at work at Brentford that day as well, and I wasn't able to watch the game fully. I was at the break room, and I was like, all right, let me just sneak onto the game real quick. And I have to say, I'm happy. It's sunny right now over here behind me. All of you guys, it's a bit grey. It's not that really appealing, but I'm saying right now, we outplayed Arsenal. I believe there was a lot of poor decision making for Arsenal as well in their setup. I believe that Carrick is bringing back glimpses of what Man United should be, and a lot of people, whenever they used to remark about United being a banter club, we went into this game looking like the underdogs, but we controlled the game as if we were actually the better side. Obviously, Arsenal, when they set up, they're strong in the defense, but at the same time, going forward, it was really crap. That's one way to put it. I'm really glad that obviously Patrick Dorgu putting in a good performance yet again. I'm actually happy with him.
Although he's out for 10 weeks now. Woo! Come on.
Yeah, but
we don't celebrate injuries, but we celebrate this one.
Look. I'm just saying, when Saka's gone for the rest of the season, I'll be ready for that one. Look,
the thing is, if Saka is gone for the rest of the season, then that's great, because what has he done the whole season?
That's
14 games and no goals.
Star boy.
When's he going to get dropped? I've had it with Saka.
Star boy, mate.
I've had it with Saka.
Boy.
Noni Madueke offers more right now than Bukayo Saka. Saka needs to earn his way back in his team.
You guys are saying that you'd never betray Saka. He's star boy. I'm telling you.
I never said that.
Well, as a club, there's people there who worship Saka.
But you can't worship Saka when he's got no goals in 14 games.
Yeah. For a while, Saka's been underperforming. But, I mean, let's talk about Man United. Mbeumo, I'm just happy to be seeing him on the pitch and doing well. The own goal from Martinez, I wasn't able to see that early on into the game, so I couldn't really give too much of a commentary on that. However, I'm happy with Michael Carrick. It's a bit too early to say whether or not this guy will be a solution for Manchester United.
Carrick at the wheel. Give it Carricky. Give it Carricky at the end of the season.
Listen. We've played this game before with Ollie. We've played this game before with previous managers, where we do good in a few games against bigger clubs. But the real test for Man United is we fall short against smaller clubs. Can we keep this performance against the likes of, we got done badly against lower league sides, but could we beat other teams such as the West Hams? Could we beat other teams such as, the Sunderlands, who just came up? Can we beat these clubs which don't have as much of a strong squad as we do? I don't know. Our squad depth will be really tested with Dorgu's injury. We need to really test how well we can play without him. And there'll be other areas as well that we know that Casemiro is going, and he was in the starting lineup. He was playing the game. With Casemiro going, we need to look forward now. We need to either looking at January signings, and the transfer window, it's not looking that good right now. I'm saying now it's looking towards the summer. I'm not all behind Ineos and the Glazers. However, I believe that this is a turning point for Man United. It's a lucky turning point. I don't think this was rightfully earned. A lot of this, if Arsenal played better, we would have lost and we'd still be playing under subpar football. But right now, it's looking like fans are questioning whether we're happy with Man United. I'm happy with a win, but the questions that I've had since the last podcast where I mentioned that the management may need to change, the ownership might need to wake up, we need Man United's DNA into the club, that still stands, and we'll need to see how we go against other sides.
I think the players the last few weeks have been poor. I think selection again is not right. I think Saka needs to get dropped, like Teresa said, not playing his best football. But the performances on the pitch are not the performances we saw before Christmas, and that is flat out. It sounds like a joke when I say this, but watching Arsenal not score a proper goal is a problem. They can't score a normal goal at the moment. They can't. We kept the clean sheet against them, and we're not the best side at the moment. I'm going to be completely honest. Although I love my team, as you see by the ground, we haven't been playing our best football. And then you look at this weekend with the own goal, with that corner goal. Arsenal are struggling to score from either from open play or a legitimately okay sound goal. It may sound like a silly point, but it's a problem. It's a big problem.
Max, I'll tell you what, Max.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the problem is. We are like two different teams. You got Champions League Arsenal and Premier League Arsenal.
That's the same with us. That's the same with us.
Yeah, if you look at that Inter Milan game, you would think we scored 2 normal goals, one from a corner. We're going to play well here against Man United. But no, it's a completely different team.
We're going to get on to us, but the same thing with us. But Arsenal, that's a big problem. You haven't got one team chasing you down. You've got 2 teams chasing you down. I think Villa's performance at St. James's Park, by the way, exceptional. And I think that we got to look at that and say, wow, Villa are here. Villa are here to play. They're a good quality side. They're going to be pushing Arsenal to the limit, same as Man City. City, you don't know what they're going to get. Obviously, they look really poor against Glimt, and then obviously with Man United as well. But City is City with Pep. They could go on a 10, 15 game winning streak, and and then Arsenal is scrambling. Look, I think the reaction's got to be now. It's not a case of if we scrape a win against Leeds, that's or wherever you've got next, that's good enough. But you've got to hit the ground running now. Is it Leeds you've got next, Ty?
Yeah, Leeds at Ellen Road.
You've got to batter Leeds 3 or 4-0. You've got to Arsenal have got to assert themselves again. Gyökeres has got to assert themselves again. And they've got to come out of Ellen Road being like, that was our best performance of the season. That's the mentality now. Every game for Arsenal is now a cup final in the league. So coming back to the original question, I think it's going to be a matter of both now. Arteta's mindset's got to change, and the players have got to act like winners. They've got to be winners to win the Premier League.
I saw this in real time. The ball definitely did hit his hand. However, he was falling. Now, this more of an open question. Did you guys think that should have been a penalty or a free kick at least? Or...
Either way, it doesn't matter, because they were already in a situation where Arsenal were really, really struggling in the game. You can't be relying on free kicks and penalties, and that's how Arsenal win their games in the past. They were literally set piece merchants, and they always will be for the foreseeable future. Unless you get rid of that fraud Arteta, you guys will be in this situation. You won't be able to score goals. You won't be able to win games. I'm saying this as it is, and it's the
problem
truth.
I have with United fans. You see, Carrick comes in charge. They win a couple of games, and they think they're going to win the league.
Mate, we're Man United. We're Man United. You guys were talking down on us the whole time. We come and we put in a performance of Man United class, and all of a sudden now we're villains. Yeah. We're Man United, bro.
I think people forget that we are still top of the league by 4 points.
Hey, but
look,
you're Arsenal.
Look, the Maguire handball, it probably was a handball in the grand scheme of things, but at the same time, you can't rely on handballs to win the game. So I do agree with you there, 100%.
I actually don't think it's handball. I think the problem with VAR is the consistency. I think it's a natural falling position. He doesn't go out the way. You know, when you need to land on the floor, you don't fall on the floor like that because you're gonna injure yourself. You're gonna injure yourself. So I think him putting his hand for support, that's what it was there for. For me, it's natural. My biggest issue is, I get as an Arsenal fan, as a Liverpool fan, I'd be annoyed if that's not given. And that's the consistency. That's not the decision that was made. That's a pure consistency on other basis, on other match days, because I've seen those given, and obviously it wasn't given for United. It wasn't given for Arsenal. Again, it's VAR problems.
We need European football desperately. I need it. I mean, I can't go watching one game a week. I mean, that's something no one wants. And I mean,
economically as well. Economically, you want to build a new stadium.
Yeah,
you
we
need
do.
European income.
We do.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can get something from this season. We do need to keep a bit of consistency. Our next few matches, I mean, if I take a look right now, our next few matches, next one is Fulham, if I'm correct. Yeah, Fulham, then Tottenham. Both of them are winnable games, as well as West Ham and Everton. Crystal Palace and Newcastle will test us a bit. We'll have a few challenging games towards the end of the season. However, I believe that with the way that we're moving right now, we could get something out of the season. I feel like if we get top 4 or just European football in general, I won't mind. I wouldn't want to be in the Europa League, but I wouldn't be angry because the Europa League is a winnable competition. We've seen it before, yeah. And I feel like we just need to start getting into winning form. If we go into the Champions League, all good for financial reasons, but I feel like it will bring us back a bit. We want that consistent motion.
So you don't want to be in the Champions League?
I'm saying I wouldn't mind it.
Do you want to play in the fucking Champions League? Do you want to play in the
Listen, mate. Our starting lineup, once certain players get injured, we're going to fall apart. We still need to answer the question of Casemiro going. We still need to answer the question of Bruno going. Could we compete in the Champions League without those two?
No chance.
I don't know.
No chance.
So I'm saying we either need replacements coming in, or Champions League football will just be purely financial and a little bit of entertainment for us. But getting pure good wins is going to be very, very, very difficult. And we'll go back to...
So you'd rather win the Europa League than not compete in the Champions League?
I mean, do you want to go out in the league stage straight away?
I mean, if I was a United fan, I'd be definitely going for that Champions League football, especially now that the fact...
Going for the Champions League football for financial reasons,
it's top 5 as well. It's top 5, it's not top 4.
It is. And I'm happy with that for the idea that, yes, getting Champions League football, perfectly fine. Being high in the Premier League, perfectly fine. But I'm looking towards next season. Carrick's job isn't confirmed. Next manager coming in, we don't know exactly how the performances will be running. We don't know how we'll be running next season. This could be just a purple patch.
Yeah.
We need to see it long term. If we put good performances and we buy strong players coming into the transfer window in the summer, I feel like, yes, Champions League I'll be comfortable with. But if we don't, we're just going to get battered. And I don't want to see Man United get battered and torn apart from the likes of Glint. By the likes of Glint.
Yeah, Bodo Glimt. I mean, they're a good team. Beat Man City like 3-0.
They're a good start. They're a good start.
They are. I mean, but their ground, and last season in the Europa League, their ground, I don't know who, I think it was Lazio they went over there. They struggled solely because the conditions. The conditions are really, really
and
harsh.
the pitch. It's an artificial pitch.
It's an AstroTurf.
No one in English football, apart from Spurs, in recent memory have played on an AstroTurf pitch.
It wasn't the best of weekend for Liverpool once again, going off against Bournemouth. And it just was really bad from the get. Really, 2-0 down, then to 2-2, and then Nate, as a new, equalised to get it to 2-2, and then right at the very end, Bournemouth won the match. Now, I did some looking into what that means for Liverpool, and it's Arne Slot's 7th loss of the season. And that's 3 more than the whole of last season. Last season, you lost 4 matches. So, I mean, it doesn't look good for the season. I mean, you're not in the worst of positions. Like, you're not near relegation. You're there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
But I think the question is really, Max, does Arne Slot know his best starting lineup?
Watching that, I'm not convinced at the moment. I'm really not. There's what we started midweek. We looked people complaining about Marseille not turning up. We did the business. We looked so good in Europe. Same thing was Arsenal. They looked so good in Europe, and then we come to the weekend, and it's like I'm watching a whole different like brand and style of football. I'm watching a different team. He's always picking Gakpo, which is a big gripe for me. Not in good form. And he's constantly picking him. I know Ekitike needs a rest, but you saw the game change when Ekitike came on. We looked a lot better when we had a recognised striker. Playing Gakpo through the middle doesn't work. It just doesn't simply work. Gakpo is good coming in from the left. He cuts in and then he goes on his right. That's where he looks good. We just looked lackluster the whole game. I think Salah looked really poor again. I think it was back to pre-AFCON Salah. Every chance he got, he was either spooning it out for a goal kick or just mistiming things. Defensively not sound again. I just don't like the brand of football we're playing right now. I mean, I'm sitting watching the game with my dad, and every single corner before our corner, every single ball goes deep into the box, and the ball goes out for a throw in. I said, how can you keep doing this for 45 minutes of the game? At least when Arsenal score corners, we complain about Arsenal scoring corners. They've got that down. They put it into the mixer, cause trouble. As soon as we put a good ball in the box, centre cut, Van Dijk puts his head on it, and we're back in the game. And then we score the free kick, and you're thinking, as Liverpool Football Club, you've got to be thinking, there's only one team going on to win this game. It's going to be us. I didn't get that mentality. I didn't get it. We're backing off against teams again. Van Dijk can complain all he wants about that last goal. I think it's ridiculous, by the way, coming out in the press conference and him and Arne Slot looking terrible, by the way, complaining to the referees after he's been fouled by Curtis Jones, his own player. I think it's pathetic. I don't want to dwell on it too much because, it's a bad performance, but, how long am I going to keep doing this? We've got a big run of fixtures as well. I'm slotting all the way, but it's not good. One thing before we come on to the other guys, I'd never want to watch my team lose, but my gosh, that unbeaten streak had to come to an end. It was so depressing, drawing those games against, teams at Anfield, teams like Leeds, teams you expect to beat on a weekly basis and giving them points at Anfield. That unbeaten run had to come to an end, and we finally been found out.
100%. You're giving up a quality player up to your competition, Man City. 1000%. In the Premier League, you can't allow quality players just to go to another big six club. That jeopardizes you heavily. You go into these games against the big six, you're going to go up against that player that you missed out on. And it's like, you look at other teams as well. And I mean, a lot of people are trying to poach onto Isak, and Isak ended up at Liverpool. That could end up that way where he's underperforming. But a defender strengthens your defense. Defense keeps you, and it allows you to win titles. You lose out on those type of players, don't expect to win anything. Don't expect anything. I have no sympathy for Liverpool because it's Liverpool. I have a little bit more sympathy in my heart for Chelsea, but for Liverpool, I have no sympathy for whatsoever.
Fair enough.
I feel like your board allowed this to happen, and it was a mistake down to you guys. You spent big previously, and I mean, the price tag on Wirtz, he's been proving himself slowly. I don't really believe in that, but you could have used that money on the likes of Guehi. Got a better deal.
I think Wirtz. I'm a big Wirtz fan, so that money was well spent.
I ain't.
It's because
I mean,
Max is obsessed with the Bundesliga, so he really.
No. Genuinely, I think at the moment, Wirtz has been our best player. The last 2 months.
At the moment, it took him a while to be worth the price.
That's how you know you've reached a new low.
Yeah, it took him a while to even be worth anywhere near the price, and I don't think he still is. You pay such big money for that. I'm expecting prime Lionel Messi to come into the Prem.
I think
the
biggest error is spending 240 million on one position.
Yeah.
That's, when does that happen? We could have got Gahey for a reduced fee, and he had 1 year left on his contract, and we went, no. We went for him the last minute. We prioritised our time.
You signed the young boy,
on a
the
second
young Italian boy.
Honestly,
You signed the young Italian boy at CB though, didn't you?
No, and I mean, what's it? Liverpool's defense. As long as I can remember, as a kid, I was terrified of the idea of having Van Dijk. It's a very solid defender, and he still can be. So the fact that you guys didn't capitalize on the idea of strengthening your defense to be terrified again. Now Arsenal is known to have a strong defense and a decent midfield when Zubimendi isn't donating.
But to be fair, Liverpool did get unlucky with injuries though, because they did sign back. They did sign a centre back.
Leone? What's a 19-year-old?
You never know.
Enough quality football.
But that shows they could have benefited from Gahey.
He definitely would have got.
But we spent. What I don't get is we spent like 35. We spent quite a bit of money on Leone. We would have had to chip in a bit more money for Gahey. And you can't compare those two players. Obviously, Leone's like 7 years younger than him, but Gahey's a proven defender. He was one of our best players in the Euros for England. And then now you look at Palace. He's one of Palace's best players. Palace probably is the best player at Palace with him and Mateta. If he, I think Gahey's going to thrive at City. Under that system, I think he's going to thrive, and he could have thrived at Liverpool, but we didn't pounce.
And I mean,
it's going to cost us. Like you said, it's going to cost us.
Clubs like Madrid, Bayern, they can go ahead and spend big on youth players because they already have a solid lineup, and they'll always be able to retain players in those leagues of quality positions. But you look at the Prem, and everything changes every single day. You want to prioritize your big money on big name Prem proven or Prem level proven players, and Gahey would have done that for you. Spending money on a kid, Man United, we made that mistake a lot of the times. Spending money on unproven players, Anthony, Hoyland,
No, but you're totally right, because that's the issue. In these countries, there's one feeder club. Everyone in the Bundesliga wants to go to Bayern. Everyone in France wants to go to PSG. Everyone in Italy wants to go to, I don't know, probably Inter Milan at the moment. Or, there's a few teams, even with Spain as well. You only want to go to Real Madrid or Barcelona. You've got Chelsea, Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal. You've got all these, big teams.
Tottenham.
No, it doesn't matter about performances. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about performances. No matter what, they're always going to be big teams, big names. So you've got to compete with those clubs every single window. And this is a prime example of us not taking an opportunity. And one of our big rivals has swooped up and gone, Liverpool, not good enough. We're going to take him.
But and buying on the youth as well, it's like it does bad effects to the players. Surely this kid's coming to Liverpool and he's probably good enough. I don't watch Liverpool, for obvious reasons. But surely he's coming. He has a mindset that he wants to come and perform, but what if he underperforms? That's a price tag on his head that people are going to use against him to lower his morale. And again, moving him on is going to be harder. And I'm not saying that you guys may want to move him on, but I'm saying, money could have been used in better places, and the effects go crazy on players. Like Garnacho right now is still recovering from the way that he's been treated at United, and he wasn't bought in, he's homegrown from us. But at the same time, it's like, what if he was bought in? That is now a price tag. The same way we treat Anthony, that is now a price tag like that. And if you ask Anthony, you check any of his comments on his time at United and the way that he was moved on, he had a very bad time at United, mentally and performance-wise. So it will affect a young kid, and it will really affect the rest of the career. And we'll never see a star really shine.
But we could see that with Isak. I'm not saying Isak's going to fail, but what if Isak isn't as prolific in a slot system than he was in a Newcastle system, where he was the focal point? If he doesn't succeed and he wants to go to Real Madrid in 2 years, and we're not going to say no to that, if he's, no matter how many goals he scores, if he leaves in the next 2 years, it was a waste of money. It doesn't matter. He could score 20 goals a season in the Premier League. It's still a waste if he leaves in 2 years, because we've spent £140 million on him. I expect £140 million. You're investing not only in the success now, but the longevity of success as well.
If slot, what would it take?
Not now.
What would it take?
Not now. I'm totally against sacking managers in the season unless you need to.
What would it take?
I said this to JP before we went on. I said to JP, we finished the season. If you don't finish in Champions League, that's a huge problem. You sit down, Arne Slot, with the board like you did with Amarim. If there's differences there, if there's differences between what the board want and what Arne wants, let him walk. Let him walk. If he's sad, I'm gonna be sad as a Liverpool fan, but you've got to let him walk. If we make the Champions League, keep Arne. If we make the Champions League, keep Arne. This season's a blip. Give him time. You know, I'm all about giving managers time. We gave Klopp season upon season upon season to succeed, and he did. Slot's had one season, he's won the Premier League. So I'm all for keeping Slot in. But if a big problem is not making Champions League, because then players will start getting unsettled. Florian Wirtz doesn't want to play in the Europa League.
That's about his level, though, isn't it?
Alexander Isak doesn't want to play in the Europa League.
That's his level.
Alexander Isak doesn't want to play in the Europa League. These players want to play in the biggest games, the biggest stage. That's what you do.
They deserve the conference.
A game I think's a big banana peel is Sunderland away. That is a huge game. That's a huge game.
But Max, so that's 3 losses on the bounce, basically, is what I'm hearing.
Four. If you say that as 4, because of Bournemouth, I hope not.
Carabao next, mate. Carabao next.
No, not Carabao. but those 3 games huge for the rest of the season. I think if we pick up 7 out of 9, which is a big ask, that means beating. I think a draw against City I'll take, and then a win against Newcastle, and then a win against Sunderland away. If we pick up 7 from 9, we'll make Champions League. I think we're good enough to make Champions League, and I think problems solved. But it's all about making Champions League now. Every game's a cup final to make that Champions League. Liverpool have got to be playing Champions League football.
Yeah, if you lot pick up 6 or 7 points in the next few games, then I'd say stop. Why is he smiling?
It's because you started saying it weirdly. You were like, if Liverpool pick up...
Stop. Stop. We're live. If he picks up 6 or 7 points in the next few games, then he will save his job. If he loses 2 of those 3 games, his job is seriously on the line, because if he loses at home again to Newcastle and City but beats Sunderland, the home form is not good enough for him to say, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Right. Should we all leave Max alone now and move on from Liverpool?
Please. Please, that's enough about that. Was enough.
Actually,
about
let's continue. I love ripping into Liverpool. I'm lying. Let's go. Let's move on.
It's not getting any better over there. I think they snatched the draw away against Burnley, like a header in the 90th minute from Amara denied Burnley 3 points at Turf Moor. Now, Thomas Frank is under a lot of pressure. We all know that. And that really has started, or even before the West Ham game, actually, where West Ham beat them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But Ty, how long is it? What is it going to take for Thomas Frank or for Tottenham to part ways? Or do you think the board are really being patient with Thomas Frank for the rest of the season?
I think for Tottenham to part ways with Frank, it's going to have to take relegation, because clearly something isn't clicking at the Spurs board. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because Daniel Levy's not there anymore, but something's not right in the Spurs hierarchy. I understand to give managers time. You have to give managers a bit of time, because otherwise they're not going to develop their ideas. But he's had over half a season now, and he's getting worse every week. I mean, he should have been sacked after holding the Arsenal Cup. That was disgraceful. But seriously, I mean, he gets worse every week, and it's just, I mean, it can't go on like this, can it?
It can.
It can.
It can.
It can.
If you're a Spurs, seriously, it can't go on like this, because there's so many other managers that are available that would do a much better job than them. Like, I could see Spurs getting a Xavi. I could see, even if they went for a lower manager like a Liam Rosenior, then I could see them doing a better job than Frank. Frank isn't suited to a big club, and he's proven it. Well, big club, and he's proven it at Spurs that he's not used to that type of pressure. He can't adapt. He's too used to playing a 5-back. He's too used to playing a slow system that he played at Brentford, that he can't come into.
Kieran McKenna could be a good fit as well.
I feel like he might, unfortunately, go down the same route as Frank. A lot of these managers are really, a lot of these lower league managers are only good at their level. It's like Marco Silva. You wouldn't put Marco Silva in a big team. Although he's doing very well, I don't think he could hack it at a big team with his tactics. They're more suited for lower sides like
Oliver
Everton's.
Glasner.
Oliver Glasner's a real exception because he proved that he can outclass the big teams. 2 trophies, 1 Community Shield, if you want to count it as a trophy. 2 trophies. He proved that he can play on the front foot. Whereas a lot of these other managers...
I think that's going to happen.
A lot of these other managers don't play on the front foot. I think, to be honest, I think Glasner is bigger than a Spurs. I think he's aiming for that Manchester United job, as he should be, because Glasner's a top manager. Even though he's not doing well at the moment, he's a top manager. But he's too good for Spurs, because Spurs need to go back to their roots and get someone manager from below, build himself up again.
What can Glasner do? Because I mean, in this situation right now, there's talks and complaints about the board not really backing him and selling players off in the middle of the season, which he needs to actually compete. Yes.
Yeah.
What can he do?
I know. I saw that. I saw that interview.
So I think he's a good manager, and if he went to Tottenham, he'd still thrive. But obviously, United's calling his name, and other clubs, bigger clubs, would be calling his name as well. The Spurs, yeah, you're right.
It's going to have to take relegation to sack him, because they're backing him so much. They're backing him more than they did Ange. They're backing him more than they did Mourinho. They sacked Mourinho for being in the top 8, and then they keep Frank for being in the top 15.
Honestly, the Tottenham experience.
Something isn't making sense at Spurs. I don't know what the obsession is around Frank. I really don't know why they think he's going to change it around when he's consistently playing the same way every game. Even with players back fit, it's the same motions, same tactics, same negative football every week.
My biggest problem is for English teams right now is every single English team, apart from City, has looked good in Europe this week, and as soon as they go back into the league, they look tragic. I mean, Spurs got a good win against Dortmund. No, Dortmund are a decent side. And
second in the Bundesliga. That shows the poor level of the Bundesliga, by the way. The league.
Yeah.
Dortmund did get a red card early on, though.
Yeah, but Spurs. There's a serious issue at that club. I think Spurs' identity is their biggest problem right now. With Ange, you knew the identity. Doesn't matter if it was good or bad. You knew at least they had an identity. And
at least they'd be entertaining.
But they had something to go in the long term with. You know, and I spoke to a lot of Spurs fans after. You speak to a lot of Spurs fans after that Europa League win. They say, well, look, the league was a travesty, but we've won a trophy. We haven't done that since 2008. If you sack him now, you're an idiot. What do Spurs do? They sack him. So I think Spurs now, I think that the dream scenario is they pick up form, finish mid-table, and the dream scenario would be getting Glasner for me. But I just don't see that happening. Like the boys have said, I think it's written in the stars for him to go to United. So I don't know with that club, man. I think Tyrese is right. I think it genuinely might come to relegation for the board to realise, oh, we've messed up. When, next season they're going to be playing against Wrexham and Rotherham.
Then again, Max, I have just realised something.
Yeah.
That Tottenham, their next Premier League game is a free win. It's City at home. So I have just realised that they will get back on winning form.
I mean, I heard their run. I heard their run on the radio. It's like it's a gauntlet. It is a gauntlet.
But they will beat City. They always do. They
always do. What?
They'll beat City though. They always do.
You don't. Yeah, but this is a new Spurs team that. But look at that. This is their games, right? Okay, they've got City. Then they've got to go to an informed United. Then they've got Newcastle. Then they've got Arsenal. Then they've got Fulham away. Then they've got Palace and they've got Liverpool. I genuinely don't see Spurs winning a game. I don't see Spurs winning a game. I don't see them winning a game. I see them picking up a draw, potentially against Fulham. I don't see them beating us at Anfield. I certainly don't see them beating Arsenal at the moment. Otherwise, I know we'd all like it as general Premier League fans, but I just think that Arsenal team are, even at the moment, way too good for Spurs. Like I said as well, this is a new season. I don't think they beat City either. And Faisal as well, they don't beat Manchester United. They don't even get a point against Manchester United. They won't get a sniff. with that United team the way you boys are playing. So if I'm a Spurs fan, I'm worried. I would be worried about relegation, like on a serious level. Because that run of games, you don't know how West Ham, you don't know how Forest are going to do, you don't know how Leeds are going to do. If they pick up more points than they do in the next 5 games, they're running amongst it. They're there, and they don't have players that know what relegation feels like.
It's all well and good getting rid of managers every other season or so, but if the players are continually not performing, like surely now it goes to either signing better players or selling players that are just not playing for the club.
See, like, I hear United fans, the way that they talk about Man United, what happens to us. So I'll relate this back to Tottenham. When you sack a manager, 2 things happen. Players bounce back, win a few games. What's happening to us right now? And we don't know what's coming up in the future, but we know guaranteed we're going to start performing better. The margin of how much we perform better, we don't know, but it's always there. There'll be an improvement because the players go back to how they used to play because there's no strict dominance under the management system. It's more so classic 4-2-3-1, classic 4-3-3, go play how you want. Frank Engine comes in, they're still back at 14th, 15th down there. They haven't progressed. They've stayed where they are. If not, they've gone worse.
They've gone backwards because they haven't won a trophy, and they're not going to.
Literally, so in this scenario, I feel like questions need to start being asked, and my heart pours out to Van de Ven. That brother, if he goes, finito. Them Sky Bet Championship, yeah. We'll be seeing Wrexham away at what's it? We'll be seeing them get off at Northumberland Park Station and walking their way into Tottenham.
Don't worry, Faisal. They have Romero, who Reece thinks gets into every top side in the Premier League. Centre back.
He doesn't get into niche.
Romero.
He doesn't get into niche. I mean, West Ham have started picking up form as well. It's so possible. It's so possible. I think they lose every game in those 5 games. So we could be sitting here in a month's time, and they could be down. They could be in 17th.
And we could be rubbing our hands.
17th, and we'd be. I'd be worried. I'm actually worried for Reece because I don't know what Reece is. I don't know how Reece is going to cope with it.
Cheaper tickets. Cheaper tickets.
Yeah, Reece has spent so much money on a season ticket this season just to watch that.
Yeah.
The first thing I'll say to him is at least you'll have a discount next season. Yeah, all the tourist fans will make their way to Arsenal instead of Spurs.
Is Spurs part of the Big Six anymore?
Most certainly not.
Yeah,
Villa replaced them.
Give Newcastle a few years. With the more money they spend, the more identity.
If Newcastle sack Eddie Howe, I still stand on that. If Newcastle sack Eddie Howe, which they need to sack Eddie Howe, why are you still playing regressive football under this woke English manager who is ultimately finished and he's taken this club as far as he can. Clearly,
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I think he's taken Newcastle. He's ridden his race as far as he can for Newcastle Football Club,
and he keeps taking his club backwards.
I genuinely think, although I want Xabi Alonso at Liverpool, I think Xabi Alonso should be looking at a Newcastle job. That's a great job. The quality of players they have, and they're not playing the most exciting football. If he comes in, brings his Leverkusen play, that Newcastle team would be scary. That'd be scary.
Takes time to set up though. But they have the money for it. They have the money for it.
There. You look at that midfield, it's one of the best midfields in the league. That is one of the Joelinton, Guimaraes and Tonali. There's not many better threes in the league.
I agree. Definitely.
So I think the foundation's definitely there.
Off topic as well. Do you think it was right for them to sack Xabi Alonso?
What's that?
Real Madrid. Do you think it was right for them to sack Xabi Alonso?
Yeah.
I'd say probably, yeah. I think you could tell, I think the longer he stayed at the club, the more hostile the fans were going to be towards him. Because they were already waving the white flags and everything, and you kind of felt sorry for him in the end of the day. Being like a Real Madrid legend as a player, to go there to try and make a difference. I mean, I think it was the right time. And I think, like Max said, a club like Newcastle would suit Alonso very well with the football he played at Leverkusen, where he went a whole season unbeaten. So, yeah, all the best for Xabi Alonso. Moving on to the better side of London, Chelsea, we won, beating Crystal Palace 3-1 at Selhurst Park. It was a really good result for us, you know. We were the better team, I would say. You know, we went 2-0 up. Esteval scored a really good goal. Fernandez scored a penalty, which was a bit controversial considering another handball, questionable handball. But then we rounded off the win with the third goal. So I think, Faisal, do you think Rosenior is starting to turn a corner with Chelsea's form, or do you think it can only last so long and we'll go back to inconsistency?
I mean, Rosenior is surely rubbing off on me slowly. Favorite quote: managing, an English proverb. Man, aging men. This guy, I don't know. I don't know.
He's a PR legend. He's a PR legend.
He is. He comes across so well. He does come across really well.
I know, and I feel like with that Chelsea side, it's very hard to get it so wrong to the point where you're so sackable. The only method for him to realistically get sacked is if he doesn't pick up a manner to win against Arsenal in the semi-final. He was talking the big talk previously about Arsenal being a good game. They have the second leg against Arsenal right now. If they can beat them and get something from the season, a trophy, then I don't think anything bad can really happen to him.
If they beat us in that semi-final, Mikel Arteta should be sacked straight after that game.
100%. I feel like Rosenior as an individual, they're still playing under Maresca-esque tactics. It's not exactly Maresca still, but with Maresca just leaving, obviously players will still be in that mindset of the way they build up into games. They'll still follow Rosenior's methods, but the way that they build into games, the way that they control the game, necessarily in a neutral game, they'll be looking towards what they've been built on in habits. So they'll still have those strong sides, but it's time for them to adapt. So realistically, I can't say whether he's good or bad, but he is rubbing off on me quite well. And the following game, I mean, tomorrow at 8 o'clock is Napoli, and then you've got West Ham, which is an easy win. And then you got Arsenal. So Arsenal will be your biggest challenge here.
Easy win for West Ham. You never know. West Ham have been picking it up lately.
Yeah,
but we beat West Ham 5-1 at the London Stadium.
On bad form.
Listen. There's levels between the London clubs. We have Tottenham, West Ham, both down here. You jump a little bit up, and then you get Brentford. I'll give them that. And then you get the Arsenal and the Chelsea up here. And then you can't forget about our lower league London clubs being a bit above Tottenham. But in my honest personal opinion, I feel like Rosenior is rubbing off quite well. His PR is crazy. I want to see more quotes from him, more funny quotes. But the football needs to improve. It needs to change. We need to see a little bit of a tactical change. We need to see a stronger identity on the pitch. And if they win something out of it, if I was a Chelsea fan, I'll take it.
Before I answer that question, JP, I'm going to do one thing. Chelsea have finally got a good signing, right? Esteval, what a player. What a player. I'm going to say that first because, wow, I love this kid. I think he's a really good player. Scored against Liverpool, last-minute winner. I was impressed then. Had a blinder against Palace. I really like this kid. I think if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be excited. But yeah, in terms of Chelsea, right, I think they've got to be pushing for top four. I think top four, top five now. They've got to be pushing for it. They look good enough for it. You know, they must look at Liverpool, you know, and they think this, you know, they're on the ropes. They're on the ropes. You know, a few more hits and they're going to drop points. If we can keep building the momentum, keep picking up points, you know, who knows what could happen. I think Chelsea are in a great spot, and I think they should be aiming definitely for a top five finish. It's going to be a really interesting battle, by the way. Liverpool, United, and Chelsea for that last spot at this rate. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
And Ty, a lot has been said about Chelsea with their transfer policy of only buying young players with potential. Do you think Liam Rosenior is going to be the manager that probably says to the board, we need to sign experienced players, or do you think it's just going to continue for the next couple of years?
Oh, Liam Rosenior is definitely not that manager who's going to have any authority over signings. Liam is he's the analogy. He's bagged his first baddie at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea is his first baddie, so he's really doing everything he can. No, he's doing everything he can to please everyone at that club. He comes across really, really well, but
He's buying the players flowers.
unfortunately, yeah,
He's buying the players flowers.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
making
He
sure that club is known.
He unfortunately is a little bit of a yes man, is what it comes across as. So I think in terms of signings, he's gonna conform to the young model because he's not that type of manager. He can't command anything because he hasn't got the CV for it. Unfortunately, if it was an Enrique or a Xavi or a Zidane, they can come in and say, "I want this player, I want that player," because they have the CVs to back it up. But for Liam Rosenior, he just unfortunately he doesn't command that type of authority. He's going to come into the club. He's going to work with what he's got, and the signings, unfortunately, are not going to be totally in his power. I'm guessing he'll have some power over who he wants, but he's not going to be the main lead on that. That'll be the sporting director.
I like Rosenior, but I said Chelsea need a big manager. They need someone who's going to call the shots for players they want, because we're going to go through this cycle of them signing young players and not being able to build a sustainable team. It's great bringing young players in, but you need experience. You need big players. You need older players to make sure that not only the young players mature, but it's a stable team. You know, it's built on stability. And I completely agree with. I think it's a great point. What Ty says. He's a yes man. He's going to say, "Yep, like that. Yep, cool. Yep, whatever." It could be a problem in a year's time. We don't know. You know, it's early on. We'll see.
When I think about it, it's like there's the talks of, obviously, yes, this is his first baddie, as Ty just said, but Chelsea, for them to get where they want to be, and they won the Champions League not that long ago, and you look at this, Rosenior comes in and is a yes man to buying young players, and we know that young players, they are potential, but they're for a future. So I feel like right now, Rosenior could be in a position where he's the guy before the guy. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good
He'll
point.
be here for like a year or 2 or 3. He will develop some things. He might win the FA Cup. He might win the Carabao Cup. He might even try to get you guys towards a quarterfinal or a semi-final in the Champions League. Small hiccups will get along the way. You guys will start saying we should buy this player and this player and this player. He will want those players. Something will go down the line, whether the board will think it's time for it to end, or whether they'll think that he's out of his depth, or bad performances will come up because you guys think you need to strengthen your squad. I don't know. And there's a lot of chaotic young personalities where heads can go down easily, and they'll need more leadership inside that changing room. Whether Rosenior can bring that himself, I don't think so. And with a lot of young players, it will only take you so far. So the only direction now is congratulations on bagging your first baddie, as we just said. Yeah, enjoy your time here. But as we know, when you bag your first attractive woman and she's there with you, she's only going to be there for so long until eventually
she'll eventually cheat on you. This is what's going to happen. Liam Rosenior is going to get cheated on eventually.
Yeah, it could be the same. It could be the same thing we're saying about Eddie Howe. Is you bring in a manager, he develops a team that's got new owners, right? And he takes them to the Champions League, plays well in the Champions League, gets a big win against PSG, like we saw. You might see that Chelsea, a quarter-final in there, but then it's developing on, and then getting like Faisal says, amazing point. I didn't even think that is incredible. By the way, that point. That he's waiting for the next man. It's poetry, really.
The only difference with Eddie Howe is, I'd say, he came into a club not knowing that they would achieve as big as they did. He came into a Newcastle team that was already run down and that was already fighting at the bottom of the table that needed a lot of resurgence, and he did that job very well. Whereas a Rosenior's come in to a top club that's already won 2 trophies in the past 2 seasons. They're on an upward trajectory, and all he needs to do is guide that team to more trophies. And Champions League finish.
Cole Palmer was left out of the squad. Now, he is back to full fitness, so he was just left out completely. And there has been rumours about him potentially leaving in January or maybe the summer. And one of the clubs linked, as Faisal was showing over there, he's been linked to go to Manchester United, which is the team he supported growing up. So, Faisal, this may be a silly question, but would you accept Cole Palmer joining your club at this moment in time, or do you think your team is good enough already?
Palmer could come in to be the replacement for Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, he could. He could come in and be the replacement for Bruno Fernandes. I think it'll be interesting seeing how he started off at City and then did his little route around the long way to get to United. But at the same time, you look at that and we've seen Sancho, he was at City way early on and rooted his way into United, and no one really brings that up. I feel like in this scenario, it would be a big move for Man United. It will be a big PR move. It will really, really, really make the board look amazing. But how he fits in with the team, I don't know. Playing week in, week out for the level that we have Bruno's dedication towards United, I seriously don't know. And it comes to show. I would love to have him at United. I feel like any fan would really want him to be there. But it's about how well he can blend and what manager we bring in. Because for all we know, we could bring in the next Amarim who thinks, okay, our most creative player should now play out in the number 8 role instead of the 10.
I think Bruno will be gone in the summer, though.
Yeah, he will. No, he's looking at leaving. We got rid of his best friend. Yeah, Ruben, right? Is his best mate, his best man, right? And now it's looking at a scenario where he's put everything down for United and he deserves to go. I feel like if you had him at Real Madrid, this lad would have won 3 Ballon d'Ors by now. 3.
Whoa. I think he's a world-class player. I think he would have won 3 Champions Leagues. Not about 3 Ballon d'Ors. Wow.
A Ballon d'Or definitely would be on his name, though. For the dedication that he gives towards Manchester United, carrying that team and the quality of player that he is, he would be in top 3 discussions of Ballon d'Ors if he was at clubs like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, or Barcelona. If it was at a club which was performing more consistently throughout the years, because he stayed with us for a long time. I remember when he signed, and we're playing in this shirt here that I'm wearing tonight. I have other ones more recently now, but you're thinking about it and you're thinking, wow, he's been here for such a long time. This shirt is withering out and he's still here. His time is coming to go, and if Cole Palmer comes in to replace, I don't know what Chelsea are going to do, because no Palmer, no party. Yeah, it's not going to be cold anymore down there. It's going to be cold up here at Manchester.